Hello my friends. So I wanted to make this video because I realized that a lot of people that have seen all of my videos, all of my 5 videos, can see that, in the beginning I was going enlisted and that I finally went to OCS through the OCS process and decided to commission instead. So there's pros to both sides. I was really considering going enlisted, even though everyone was telling me go officer because you already have your bachelor's. But little do people know that yes, you have your bachelor's, you qualify to be an officer, but there's so many different variables that are involved when going the officer route. Number one, you need to have a bachelor's. Number 2, you need to score well on your ASVAB. So I scored a 67 on my ASVAB, but the most important number on the ASVAB is your line score, the GT score. You have to score at least a minimum of 110 to even become a qualifying candidate for officer. And I thankfully scored 111, so I was good there. But before I took the ASVAB, I was like, I know I'm not gonna make it. I know I'm not gonna make that GT score. I'm just gonna go enlisted, and I just had that in my mindset. Number 3, you have to create a packet. This packet includes an essay on why you want to become an officer. You need to have recommendation letters. You need to fill out a whole bunch of things and just make a packet to turn into the OCS board, which is the 4th thing. You need to interview in front of the president of the board to see if they even recommend you to become an officer, because if they see that you're not even in the right mindset, they won't accept you to go to OCS. So there was just so many factors, and to be completely honest, all of that scared me. I was just like, I don't want to go through all that. On top of the fact that, officers are known to lead from the front, and they have to be the first ones there and the last ones to leave. You have, a lot of responsibilities, and you have to be accountable for a bunch of crap. So all of that scared me, and I'll later explain as to why I decided to go this route. But there's so much involved when it comes to becoming an officer in the Army, and I just really want to just take the easy route. So like I said, let me tell you the pros on both sides. The pros on becoming an enlisted soldier. First, you become a well-rounded soldier because you start from the bottom. Technically you don't start from the bottom, you start a higher ranking because you do have some education, no credits, but you do go in as enlisted and you learn how to be an enlisted soldier, which is what a lot of people say makes a great officer. They say that if you go enlisted first, that you learn what it's like to be in the military. You learn the side of becoming an enlisted soldier, so then when you become an officer, you are more well-rounded, and you know how to lead, and you know what it's like to be on the other side. Another pro on being an enlisted soldier is that, again, you start from the bottom, so you have the opportunity to earn your rank. You just don't go in and say, okay, I'm higher ranking than you. You go in and you do your time and you earn your rank from the bottom to the top, until you can potentially just go to OCS and become an officer that way as well, which was my goal. My goal was to go in as enlisted and then eventually go in as officer, because I kind of wanted that experience first. But yeah, that didn't obviously go that way. Another pro of becoming an enlisted soldier is that you're eligible for bonuses when you sign up. When you are an officer, you don't qualify for bonuses unless you are a STEM major: science, technology, engineering, or math. Unless you're a STEM major, they really don't offer bonuses, and as an enlisted soldier, you have the opportunity to choose a job and qualify for a bunch of bonuses. And you also get to secure your job as an enlisted soldier, which was a huge thing for me, especially when you look at my first video on why I decided Army instead of Air Force. But yeah, you don't get to choose your job as an officer. It's a little different. You go through schooling, and then it's an order of merit list, and if you're the top 10% of your class, you get your first pick at the job that you want. It's a very competitive process. As an enlisted soldier, you say, this is just the job that I want. If it's not available now, I will wait for it to become available, and that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what it is. You choose your job. your future, your career secured. If you know, choosing a job is very important to you, which for me it is, because I don't want any combat jobs. And another pro of being an enlisted soldier is that the height and weight requirements are not as strict as the officer height and weight, and that was a huge struggle for me. I can talk about that in another video, but yeah, height and weight, they're not in my favor. I had to really bust my butt to make the height and weight, and I barely passed it, but I did, thank God. But they're not as strict, so I felt like I didn't want to work as hard to lose like the extra weight and kill myself if I qualify to be an enlisted soldier with the height and weight that I was. So those are the pros of becoming an enlisted soldier. I'm sure there's a lot more, but those are like the few that came to my mind. The pros of becoming an officer first is that, number one, you go in there and you are a leader. You lead, and I, in my civilian life, have not had the opportunity to have job positions where I am like a manager or a supervisor. So this definitely gives me the opportunity to become a leader. And even though I plan to make the military a career, if I do eventually get out, I can land a manager and a supervisory role or a director role or whatever, just like that, because of the experience that the military will provide as an officer, me being as an officer. Number two, a pro about becoming an officer is that you can use your degree for something that will be worth it, like this. So for example, I say that because I majored in sociology, and sociology is a really bullshit degree. So yeah, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do with my degree out of college? I really can't do anything with that degree. It's kind of like a psychology degree. Not saying that psychology majors are bullshit too. It's just, it's very, very hard to just land something in your field right after you graduate college, to be honest. And yeah, why not use all that time that you put in and all that effort in your education to qualify to become an officer in the military? That's just like how I thought about it. Another pro that I think for, you know, the officer is that when you go in as an officer, I think that you're more receptive to learning versus if I were to go enlisted and then go officer. I would have been like stuck in like the enlisted ways and like the military ways and not open to growth during OCS. So I think that's kind of like a pro to me. And I would be lying if I say that the difference in salary between an enlisted soldier and an officer is not a motivating factor. I would be lying because they do make significantly more, and I'm not gonna lie, I just it is what it is. So again, I thought that I was not gonna be able to be an officer. I don't know why. I think it's just like I just didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I can do it. I didn't think that I can meet the weight requirements. I didn't think that I can do well enough in my PT score. I didn't think that I would get the letters of recommendations that I needed. I didn't think that I was capable of so much more. And to be honest, I don't know what flipped a switch in my brain, and I'm just like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? If I get rejected as an OCS, I'll go in as enlisted, no problem, because at the end of the day, that this is something that I want to do. And I was like, sure, let me just go through the process. And you know, it's a pretty lengthy process to become an officer, but I got the job done. To be honest, now that I think about it, I don't know why I had all those doubts in my mind, because all you got to do is just put in the work, perform the necessary steps to what it takes to become an officer. If you fail your ASVAB, just take it again, see if you can get that score higher. You just gotta do what you need to do to get what you want and not find the easy way around, because that's what I was doing in the beginning. I was just looking for the easy way in and easy way out. So yeah, that's the reason why I decided to go officer instead of enlisted, because I felt like I was worth the extra work, and I want to meet the fullest potential that I can honestly be. I think that being an officer is being in a position that is so respected, and I know that I will learn so much when I go to OCS and become the leader that I know that I can be. So yeah, that's it for you guys. If you have any questions, I'm sorry if I rambled a lot. This is probably my longest video, but I just wanted to give a lot of people that clarification on why I decided to go the officer route instead. It's pretty much because I was scared that I couldn't be an officer, but I'm an officer and I did it. And whoever's going through the same situation, just do it. Just don't limit yourself. That's the biggest thing. Just don't limit yourself, because you don't know what you're truly capable of. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later.